right, hello and welcome to the Enduro Method podcast. I'm your co-host, Dane Tony, here with Joshua Rempel, and today we are going to be talking about some common nutrition myths.
So if you are subscribed to our weekly fuel, the kind of newsletter / email that we send out on various topics.
If you're not already signed up, you should sign up. You can do so on our website at the bottom. There's like a subscribe now, and we are sending emails every Monday with
hopefully some quality information or at least quality opinions.
Yeah.
But one of the ones we just sent was on kind of some common nutrition myths, so we just figured we'd talk about those myths and maybe add a couple things here and there as we come across it.
Yeah, this is basically an expansion off that, like way more detailed-ish.
All right, be careful with the word way, but a little bit more detailed, yeah.
Well, if you're like me and don't read, but listen, here you go.
Exactly. So one of the things we were talking about, the first myth we had was just because it's organic, it's healthy. Now, there's probably, or healthier than non-organic.
So the myth is, just because it's organic means it's healthy.
Right.
Or healthier than regular food.
Than non-organic food. And there's probably some truth to that. One of the things that was in there, I don't think it got linked in the article, but if you Google Dirty Dozen and Clean 15, it's a great resource for kind of seeing if you can buy organic, there is some foods that you're better off buying organic, and then some that are literally a waste of money. And this would be from fresh grown produce. This isn't like box foods, which we'll get to in a minute. But so there is some places that's better off spending your money if you can on the organic side because of what they get used to grow, right? There's just a lot of things that get sprayed on them and stuff like that. So that's a good reference for kind of figuring out what's maybe more worthwhile to spend your money on to buy organic, and then what you just buy non-organic, because there's no real reason to waste money on the organic stuff. So again, Dirty Dozen, Clean 15. You can just find that online. Yeah. So from produce side or growing side, yeah, there's probably some possibility or some advantageous areas to like do the organic stuff. But on the flip side, I feel like it's so easy to get caught up in the minutia of it that you're better off eating whole foods no matter what. Even if you can't do organic or maybe your store doesn't have it available, you're always better off buying whole foods, which by whole foods, I mean something that's grown, used to breathe. Harvested, right? Picked from a tree, stuff like that, versus stuff out of a package or a box.
Right.
Because even though those boxes or packages say organic, it's still heavily processed.
Yeah, depending on stuff, but basically, yeah.
Yeah, like it's
most of the time.
I just heard this and this was hilarious, but if you'll notice how boxes have to tell you how healthy it is, like that's what a box is. It's advertisement for how healthy the food is. When you look at broccoli, there's no advertisement for how healthy broccoli is. Everybody knows broccoli is healthy.
Yeah, this is true.
The whole produce aisle, there's not a description of how nutritious the apple is right under the apple. But go walk down the middle of the aisles in the store, and all you're getting bombarded with is how nutritious this boxed thing of organic Annie's mac and cheese is. Mm-hmm. It's because it's not, and they're trying to advertise to you how healthy it is. I thought that was pretty funny.
That is funny.
So don't get sucked in.
Okay, so here's a question for you. Organic meat.
This could be a whole new... I'm not an expert on this by any stretch. I've heard the argument, and I can never repeat it correctly. I do... Like, Rob Wolf would be somebody I would use as a reference for the debate on whether, like, grass-fed, is better than your conventional thing. I think there's a huge case to make for factory farming and how horrific it is for animals and the conditions that they are grown in, right? And... So from that aspect, it can be pretty horrendous. From a nutritional aspect, there's not, even you can get grass-fed, like it could be labeled grass-fed beef, and they've spent 80% of their life on corn and whatever else growing up, and then to get finished with grass, right, for the last like year of their life. So,
and then you literally just paid $8 extra.
Yeah, there's again, that's one of those things you could spend. I mean, people do, right? They dedicate their whole lives to figuring that out. I think if you can, maybe it's worth it. I don't know. Like we kind of do half and half.
Yeah, I would say like the one thing I feel like I have heard, like this is a memory in my brain, so it's not accurate probably, but I heard that like poultry, like chicken and turkey, you want to try and buy organic, and then red meat is
less of a concern.
Yeah. Yep.
And I would go back to the
Tyson chicken versus like the Smart chicken.
Right.
The packaging got me there.
Yeah. Well, and I would go back to the thing though, like eating real meat is better than
boxed
Beyond Meat.
Yeah. But it's Beyond Meat. Holy shit.
Have you read the ingredient list on those things?
No.
Oh my God. It's so bad.
I should look.
There's also there can be a big ethical and moral argument to be made for eating meat or not eating meat. All those things, totally understandable. Everybody, do your own diligent research, make your own decisions, but eating...
We're moving into the next myth without even meaning to.
Basically, it's a big argument or a discussion to be had. I think the factory farming stuff needs to be addressed. I do think that's one of those things that we're going to look back at, hopefully, if everybody's still here in the world in like 50 years, and it's going to look pretty bad. It's kind of a stain on humanity, I think. But on the flip side, meat is one of the most nutritious foods out there. So,
leading into myth number 2, plant food is more nutritious than animal food.
Incorrect.
False.
Now, there again, you can have the ethical, moral arguments. That's
valid,
completely valid, and everybody needs to come up with their own feelings on this stuff. Again, the factory farming thing. But from just nutritional aspects, there's been a lot of bad studies that are used still in reference. There's been a lot of coerced money involved in misleading the general population. Our standard like food pyramid's a joke. So it's becoming more and more apparent, but we've been misguided since I think it was the 80s when that thing came out or whatever. Big sugar is it's big sugar. It's a massive part of that.
Sounds like big pharma.
I know. Goodness. But it is. I mean, you can look at the trends, and we've had some really bad decisions that have led to a lot of issues and where we are currently. And so it's the idea that a prehistoric food is the root cause of modern disease is an amazing thing to think about, because a lot of the old bad epidemiological studies that are constantly cited basically make the claim that the standard American diet causes heart disease, but the standard American diet that they're using is more based off fast food. So all those studies didn't take into account like quality lean protein. They took into account more like a super fatty food full of shit, and then on top of that loaded with sugars and carbohydrates and just junk food. So if you take out the sugar and
if you take out the quality behind it, like...
Right, so if you...
I mean, basically the study, that you're referring to was a study
studies. Basically everything that the
a handful of them were compared eating, like red meat, you could say. And in these studies, they were also eating other crap, red meat, and processed food.
Shit ton of processed food and sugar.
Versus maybe less processed food. I don't know. I don't actually read the studies, but I'm just regurgitating people that have read them and talked about them.
Yeah, it's just that, you listen to these people make these claims, and they're taken in a vacuum setting, essentially, right? So it's really hard to do these studies to begin with. It takes a long time, and so it's just not easy to do. And then the things that are cited, though, have been based off of these that are fairly corrupt and biased to begin with, right? And then people cherry pick the data to point in whatever direction they want to support their argument, and here we are. So
anyways, the point is that plant food is a more nutritious option than animal food. We disagree with. I know a lot of people that thrive off of a plant-based or without animal food diet, but they're also very mindful of how they get their protein, and I mean they pay attention to that, and it works for them. So, I think whatever you choose, quality of food, but that to not demonize animal food.
Well, the other part of that's easy to point to is if you look at elite performers in the world, and I mean the elite of the elite, nobody's on a vegan diet. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't say that 100%.
Game Changers, the movie or show, the spoof thing on Netflix that was out there, basically pulled the top performers from, everybody they could find who follows a
sure
vegan
they
diet.
Exist. Is what I'm saying.
I'm not saying they're not elite. I'm saying elite of the elite. Like, if you take the top performers in the world in any given field, most are consuming
the majority
animal
of
products.
them are consuming.
Mostly more than the
There
majority.
are probably outliers.
Sure.
I'm sure there are. You just don't follow them or something.
Nobody.
You don't believe, Josh.
Look, yeah, that's true. Anyways. But the Game Changers, they would have pulled them out for the movie, and they weren't even in the movie. So, that's what I'm getting at. We all know where I stand on this.
Let me make my point.
What's that?
Because it's a little more balanced approach.
No, I love veggies. I'm all for them.
I know.
I just think they need to be next to
my point
a
is
piece of
that
meat.
if you are going to go without animal protein, that you have a strategic method to which you do get enough protein. I don't think you need, crazy amounts, but that you are getting it, especially if you are active, because protein is the building blocks of which you need to build muscle tissues and to help recover.
Yeah. That's a good point. You need to supplement wisely.
Yeah,
basically.
or just, you can do it, and if you're looking for help there, maybe not ask Josh, but there's a lot of resources out there on the internet. Good luck.
Yeah, Whole Foods. Again.
Yeah, eating whole foods.
So if you want to go full vegan veggie, it's just eat whole foods again, but that's really hard to do.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Moving on from a very what would you say? Controversial, inflammatory.
Yeah, inflammatory
topic. Moving on.
It's something else that sugars cause, but
okay. So myth number 3: the low calorie, low fat, low carb, boom, in your face is healthy.
And maybe not all at once, but at least we've gone through phases of this over the last 40 years, right?
Yeah.
For a while it was
low fat.
Low fat.
Well, low fat, low calorie.
Right.
But now it's low carb.
Now it's all
no
low
carbs.
carb. Yep. Carbs and fats are both vital to living a good lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
It's
the source of which you are consuming them from.
Well, the source and the amount, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you just think of carbs and fat as energy, which they are, if you take in too much energy, so if you eat or consume more energy than you expel through living and your daily things that you need to, that your body, the process that your body needs to survive, and your exercise, then you're going to start to store excess energy on your body in the form of fat tissue.
I feel like we haven't heard this from you ever before.
It's
for those of you that listen to the podcast,
I feel like
Josh is on his broken record again.
No, I don't feel like people hear it enough, because that's what it is. So yes, there's things that can be off in individuals.
My hormones, Josh.
Exactly. I would feel like
I'm suffering from adrenal fatigue.
Right. And so, yes, there can be outliers, and I think for the most part, those are outlying cases. More often than not, there's an energy imbalance. So you're consuming more than you're putting out. And it's easy to do. I mean, especially when you do start going down the more processed food route, because it's not like processing food is inherently bad, right? There's nothing that's evil about processing food. But what happens when you do processed food is things are removed and things are put in. Usually the things that are removed are the things that are less palatable but healthy, like dietary fiber and stuff like that. And things that are put in are things that make it more flavorful, right?
Addicting.
And so you're taking out things also that are nutrient dense and putting in things that are like space savers. Mm-hmm. So now the food becomes less filling, more palatable. So you get a hyper palatable food with less nutritional density. So you're eating more of it and you're getting less satiation, which puts you basically in an energy surplus. And then you're also more hungry because you never got the satiating part of that food, mm-hmm. right? And so then you're constantly eating. You also have less, it's a vicious circle.
Yeah. So a really good example of this would be maybe using the macaroni and cheese. You know, you make one box thing of macaroni and cheese, and you make that, and it's say 1,000 calories.
2/3 of a cup.
No, like I'm saying, like a whole box of macaroni and cheese, and I could eat a whole box of macaroni and cheese in like a hot second.
Yeah.
So could you. You'd be like, I'm still starving. I'm hungry. And so what I'm getting at is that say that's 1,000 calories, but if you were to eat 1,000 calories worth of broccoli and rice and chicken, like you're gonna be like force feeding yourself almost at the end. At least I would be closer to doing that.
Right.
You know, whereas you'd be asking for the second box or third box for the macaroni and cheese, but yet you'd be up on 2,000 to 3,000 calories on your third box, you know, for example.
Right.
If, you know, just to hit it home.
Yeah. I mean, and again, what's the box doing? It's telling you how nutritious it is.
Yeah.
So, them by themselves aren't necessarily bad, right? Mm-hmm. Carbs are part of... the other part of this is your body, like both carbs and fats are fuel. They also, you use them differently depending on the type of exercise or activities you're doing. Your body can kind of create these things independently, right? That's part of just how our bodies work to build ways of doing things, whether it's fast or slow or any of that stuff, and what burns when and all that's part of it. But in general, if you're in excess of
we're going there again.
Yeah. If you're in excess, you're gonna gain excess, right?
Okay. So I'm cutting them off. Okay, so the myth number 3: low calorie, low fat, low carb things, items, diets are completely healthy.
Yeah. I mean, it might be fine having some of that in your your diet, but just on a whole.
Yeah, as a whole, it
whole
doesn't
foods,
make it healthy.
Right? Better off. The last thing that just touching on real quick would be, I don't know if it's quite a myth, but that supplements are like the way to go.
That myth could go either way.
Yeah.
There's a myth. That's a two-way myth right there.
What do you got?
Myth that just you need supplements, and then the myth is the other side of the myth is supplements are the devil.
Right. I think they have their place. I mean,
what kind of supplements are you talking about? Like whey protein?
Yeah, that's a supplement.
Well, I didn't know if you're talking about like vitamin D.
That'd be like a vitamin.
Oh.
I mean, I get right.
Or like my Fit Aids.
It's not a supplement. It's just a drink. So the two that we fall on that you could feel like we could basically promote safely as far as the supplements go, and they have more data research behind them than basically anything else would be creatine and whey protein.
Beta alanine.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Have you ever done it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you think?
Well, I don't personally like it, but I do know that there's.
So you gotta put it in the category of.
There's good scientific research on it.
Like what?
So
Matt Frazier on Joe Rogan.
Yep, that's one. So beta alanine is something you can take. I didn't personally like taking it because it made my ears hot and maybe itchy a little bit, burning.
Yeah, it makes you tingly.
I had tingly ears. However, there is good research that the benefit for beta alanine, I mean, Google this because I'm not going to probably get it 100% right, or I should be like Rogan and start Googling right now. But anyways, that it will help with high intensity output. So like that's like, but it's super high intense. So I can think of like a gym example, like doing Fran, which is a classic CrossFit workout of 21, 15, 9 thrusters and pull-ups. And so I think of that as like where you're in the dark hole 100%. The workout's like, I think crazy people like 3 minutes, me 6 minutes, up to, maybe 9 minutes. But anyways, people at the elite level like can see benefit to supplementing with beta alanine for something like that high of an output for a short period of time. Where's my Google machine? Anyways, that's where beta alanine could potentially come into handy. Creatine, I know there's good research for that, and it's just basically
more or less, creatine over time can potentially help you gain strength and work capacity by helping build or bolster your ATP stores. But it's not a quick fix. It's something I might add like 5% over time. So, again, anything in my estimation that actually provides true benefit is illegal. Basically anything else that's over the counter. The two that move the needle the most are supplementing with whey protein, and the reason for that is making sure that you have adequate levels of protein in your body to assist in maintaining and building lean muscle mass. So that's why protein's good, aids in recovery, blah, blah, blah. You can train harder, all those things. And creatine is kind of along the same lines of the protein. Could potentially up your availability of ATP a little bit over time by using that consistently. And again, those have a lot of research over many, 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 many years. Whereas even the beta alanine thing, I did use it for a little while consistently a couple years ago.
Can I talk about beta alanine again?
I hated the tingling of it, the niacin part. So that was just my own personal thing. But it seems to be becoming a little bit more popular now.
Okay, I took the second to Google it. I'm reading a study, and basically beta alanine supplementation, they call the tingling, oh man, I'm not going to be able to pronounce that, paresthesia. So exactly what I was saying, not bad. Daily supplementation with 4 to 6 grams of beta alanine for at least 2 to 4 weeks has been shown to improve exercise performance, more with pronounced effects in open endpoint task/time trials lasting 1 to 4 minutes in duration. Good job, Dane.
Nice work.
I'm not done. The more research is needed to determine the effects of beta alanine on strength, endurance, performance beyond 25 minutes in duration. So I was right according to this. So good job, me.
Yep. I think the other important part, though, to mention on this is that if you're not already in the elite athlete category, you're going to get way more out of just doing exercise than any supplementation with beta alanine.
100%.
So Like this would be, hey, I've been training consistently for years and crushing. I got my nutrition dialed away. I got water intake dialed.
This is the hierarchy of needs.
Yeah, like this beta alanine,
Supplementation is-
if you're not already in the 95 percentile of sleep, nutrition, and hydration, beta alanine is not going to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's not going to have any noticeable effect, and it's a waste of money.
Placebo effect, man. If you take
Yeah,
that,
maybe.
you believe it.
I thought about working out. Is that a placebo effect?
Yeah.
Or I tell myself I worked out this morning. Anything else? Supplements? I'm just not big on supplements because I don't think. Yeah, yes, there are some that matter. Making sure your salts are good. Your got your sodium levels, whatever, up, and yeah, all that's important. We did do, like the element salts.
Well, I'm off them now.
Well,
I'm
consult
getting
with
heart
your physician and all
palpitations.
that stuff. But like that might be worthwhile
Consult your
if you're a big
physician.
yeah, if you're a big sweater.
Yes.
That could definitely be worthwhile. But outside of whey, creatine, and then maybe some type of sodium supplement or magnesium or potassium like element salt kind of thing. I think the rest is up. You're better off spending your time getting your sleep organized, getting your nutrition right, and water intake.
Yeah.
And then train or exercise or do whatever you do. Go ride your dirt bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we said this was going to be a 15-minute conversation.
We're close. All right. I think that's it.
No other pertinent information. Okay, well, thanks for listening us rattle off about our 3 favorite nutrition myths that we kind of debunked. If you have any other podcast topics that you would like us to cover, find us on Instagram at Enduro Method, or send us a message through the interwebs.
We have been getting a bunch of questions about energy systems.
Oh, yeah.
That will be coming out soon.
Yeah.
So
And
if you're
subscribe
interested in
to
that.
our weekly fuel, because I'm sure you'll be writing about that at some point
Yep.
or another.
It's
Josh
in the
is
queue.
obviously writing for the weekly fuel. Yours truly is not. But yeah, thanks for listening. Appreciate the support. And if you are interested in doing Enduro Method and not currently doing it, check out enduromethod.com. We offer subscription-based online training. Wow, I can't even explain what we do. We offer subscription-based online strength and conditioning programs. We also have a one-on-one remote training option as well, assuming that you don't live in Teton Valley. If you do, you can come find us. Yeah. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll be sure to catch you next time. Thanks.